In this Fextralife video, we're going to be taking a look at RPGs where your choices actually matter. There are RPGs where choices feel like a checkbox, and then there are games where every decision hits hard and sticks with you, shaping your journey from start to finish. These aren't just about good or bad endings. These are the games where your actions can lock you out of content, change the way characters treat you, or completely flip the story upside down. Some of these are classics, others more recent, but they all do one thing well: they make your choices actually matter. So these aren't in any particular order, but first on our list is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This one shows up on every list for a reason. The Witcher 3 doesn't give you a clear good or evil path. Instead, it throws you into messy emotional situations where no matter what you choose, someone usually ends up hurt. And the worst part, the consequences often don't show up until hours later, so you don't know what's going to happen. One of the best examples is the Bloody Baron questline. It starts out looking like a typical monster hunt, but quickly turns into a brutal family drama where your decisions have long-term ripple effects. The ending you get isn't marked by a flashy prompt either, it just happens, and you have to live with it. Even the side quests feel weighty. Characters remember how you treated them, dialogue changes depending on your actions, and the world feels like it's actually reacting to you, not just checking off flags in the background. If you want to feel the pressure of every choice, this game still sets the standard today. Up next is Disco Elysium. Disco Elysium doesn't just let you make choices, it turns your entire mind into a cast of characters that argue with you as you play. There's no traditional combat system, no loot grind, it's just you, your thoughts, and a broken city full of secrets. What makes this game stand out, besides its amazingly hilarious dark humor, is how deeply it lets you roleplay. You don't just decide what your detective says, you decide what he believes, what parts of his psyche wins arguments, and what kind of person he will ultimately become. Whether you lean into empathy or full-on nihilism, the world shifts around you. It's a wild ride, and the mechanic makes it more satisfying than just grinding out levels to beat a boss. Also, the art style is just stunning. The writing is weird and sharp, you'll fail checks, you'll fall flat on your face, and sometimes, failing unlocks even more amazing story beats. It's unpredictable in all the best possible ways. There's no hero's journey here, just a guy trying to hold it together while the voices in his head scream over one another. And somehow, that makes the whole thing feel real. Next is Undertale. It looks like a quirky retro RPG, but Undertale flips every expectation you have about morality systems. From the very first battle, you can choose to kill or spare your enemies. And unlike most games, that choice doesn't just affect your reputation, it defines the story completely. Go the peaceful route and you'll get a heartfelt, often hilarious story where you make friends instead of enemies. Choose violence and the tone shifts into something darker. The characters react to what you've done. The game remembers. And if you go full genocide, prepare for one of the most unsettling experiences in RPG history. In short, clever and packed with emotional gut punches, Undertale proves you don't need a massive world or 100 hours of gameplay to make your choices feel like they matter. Sometimes all it takes is a single decision to change everything. Next is Life is Strange. You won't be leveling up or grinding loot in this game, but don't let that fool you. Life is Strange is all about decisions and consequences. You play as Max, a teenager who discovers she can rewind time. That sounds like a get-out-of-jail-free card, but the game just doesn't let you off that easy. Sure, you can rewind and test out different choices, but eventually you have to move forward. Some choices have subtle ripple effects. Others change entire story paths. It's not about winning, it's about deciding who you want to be and who you're willing to hurt to get there. Life is Strange focuses on relationships and the small things, conversations, friendships, trust, and it all builds up to big moments where there's no perfect option, just two bad choices. If you're into slower, story-driven games where the emotional weight is real, Life is Strange is a must-play. Next is Alpha Protocol. This one's a cult classic for a reason. Alpha Protocol is a spy RPG with janky combat and some very early 2010s design, but what it nails is consequence. You play as a secret agent, and the entire game is built around fast decisions with long-term effects. Every conversation is timed. You choose your tone, whether you'll be suave, aggressive, or professional. Characters react differently depending on how you treat them. Be cool with someone early on, and they might save your life later. Rub them the wrong way, and they might sell you out. Whole missions change based on your decisions. You can lock yourself out of certain story arcs, lose allies, and face different bosses depending on how you handled earlier encounters. It's messy and chaotic, but in a good way. No playthrough feels the same. For all its rough edges, Alpha Protocol is one of the boldest RPGs when it comes to letting your choices truly shake things up. Next is Dragon Age Origins. If you're looking for a game where your decisions actually change the world around you, Dragon Age Origins is still one of the best. This is BioWare at its peak. Dragon Age Origins gives you branching origin stories, complex moral choices, and a world that actually changes based on how you play. Right from the start, your race and class shape how characters treat you, and those early choices keep coming back hours later. Major events like Landsmeet let you decide who rules the kingdom. Companion loyalty is not guaranteed. Make decisions they hate and they'll leave, or worse. And the Mage versus Templar conflict, there's no easy answer, only who you're willing to stand with. What makes the game stand out is how personal the journey feels. Whether you romance a companion, sacrifice someone for the greater good, or take a stance in the middle of a war, it all feels weighty. You're not just moving through the story, you're carving your own path through it. It's dark, tactical, and still one of the best examples of meaningful choices in a fantasy RPG to date. Next is the Mass Effect trilogy. The Mass Effect trilogy is basically the blueprint for long-term RPG choices. Decisions you make in the first game echo all the way through to the third. And it's not just the big stuff, it's the small personal moments that add up and define your version of Commander Shepard. You can be a paragon or a renegade, but most players find themselves somewhere in between, and that's the beauty of it. You're not forced into a binary path. You build relationships, make sacrifices, and decide what kind of leader you want to be. Save one squad mate, lose another. Sway entire species with diplomacy or brute force. The world reacts and your crew members react to what you did. Even the ending, for all the controversy, still feels like the result of everything you put into the journey. And what's great is that all three games are tied into each other, and your choices carry over through each game. If you want a trilogy that makes your choices feel like they span galaxies, Mass Effect still delivers. Up next is Diablo 2. Diablo 2 is the kind of RPG that doesn't care if you made a mistake. You picked a class, dumped all your stat points into energy, and forgot to level up your main skill. That's your build now. There's no safety net. Back in the original version, respecs didn't even exist. If you messed up your skill tree, the only fix was starting a brand new character. That alone made every choice feel serious. Even in later patches where they added limited respecs, that old school pressure is still there. You can't just try out 5 different builds on the same character like you can in some modern games. You've got to think it through. And once you have a build in mind, you're going to have to commit to it. And don't get me started on hardcore mode. That's not one for the faint of heart. One death and your character's gone forever. That includes your loot, your gear, your progress, all of it. Imagine grinding for hours, surviving hell difficulty, only to be ambushed by something random like a lightning-enchanted goat. It's brutal, but it's also what makes the highs feel so good. What makes Diablo 2 stick isn't just the permadeath of hardcore mode or the lack of do-overs, it's how your build actually changes how you play. A Boazon moves and fights completely different than a Whirlwind Barbarian, and once you go down a path, you really feel locked into your playstyle. It's not a game where you can do everything. You have to choose what kind of hero you're going to be, and then live with that decision for the rest of your run. If you're the type of player who likes games that keep you on your toes and actually make you think before clicking the level up button, Diablo 2 still hits different even today. Next is Dark Souls. Dark Souls doesn't just give you choices, it makes you live with them in the most unforgiving way possible. You want to attack that weird NPC because you think they're shady? Go ahead, but don't expect them to respawn. Some of the game's most important merchants, quest givers, or blacksmiths can be killed permanently, and if they die, that's it. You just made your life way harder. And it's not just about who you kill either. Even simple things like joining a covenant or giving someone a specific item can change your ending or lock you into a path. And since the game barely explains anything, half the time you won't even realize what you did until way later. That one guy you ignored 10 hours ago? Turns out he could have helped you in the final boss fight, but it's too late now. Then there's the build system. You can dump hours into a character leveling up strength or dex only to find out the weapon you wanted to use needs faith and intelligence instead. There's no easy way to reset your stats, so once you go down a certain path, you're stuck with it. Your decisions matter because the game doesn't let you undo them. What makes Dark Souls special is how it doesn't hold your hand. Every choice has weight, even if you don't realize it right away. It's all part of what makes the world feel so mysterious and dangerous. You're constantly making decisions on the fly, and the game's like, okay, cool, hope that works out for you. If you like RPGs that reward curiosity but punish recklessness, Dark Souls is the blueprint. It turns every interaction, every stat point, and every shortcut into a choice that sticks, and honestly, that's what makes it so unforgettable. And last, but certainly not least on our list, is Baldur's Gate 3. This one is a no-brainer. This game is a choice machine. Baldur's Gate 3 is like sitting at a table with the most chaotic D&D party imaginable, And somehow, it just works. Everything you do ripples through the story, and sometimes even the smallest decisions lead to massive consequences. From the first act, you're making calls that shift entire quest lines. Save someone and they might join your camp. Ignore them and you might run into them as an enemy later. The game adapts to you constantly, your companions react, the world shifts, and the options never feel fake or forced. What makes it even better is how wild you can go. You can romance a vampire, betray your own party, or talk your way through a boss fight using nothing but charisma and luck. It all feels natural. There's no right or wrong way to play Baldur's Gate 3. Your way is the way, and the game supports you at every turn. So that wraps up my video on RPGs where your choices actually matter. Some will make you a hero. Others, you'll burn bridges you didn't even know they had been burned. And if you've ever reached the end of a game and immediately wanted to start over just to see what you could have done differently, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So what do you guys make of our list of games where choices actually matter? Are these ones you would have put on there? Are there ones that I'm missing? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this sort of content, let me know as well. We're trying out something new on the channel when we have a little bit of time. If you want to see more videos like this, you can post a comment, and I will check them and read into it.